Within just a few decades, Islam's four greatest caliphs, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali, had shattered both the Roman and Persian empires. The Persian capital fell easily, but the Roman capital? That was a different story entirely. For 800 years, no Muslim ruler could take it. These four caliphs came agonizingly close, just a step away from the gates of the Roman capital, Constantinople. Yet they never broke through. After them, 5 major Muslim kings tried, failed completely. But the 5th attempt would be different, because it was led by a 21-year-old who built the world's largest army, forged the world's most powerful cannon, and, for the first time in history, made his navy sail not across the sea, but over mountains. That young man was Sultan Mehmed II. His father, Sultan Murad, had attempted the 4th Great Siege of Constantinople and failed. The defeat broke him. He spent the rest of his days talking to his ministers, his generals, even his own sons, about the dream that slipped through his fingers. His son Mehmed grew up hearing those stories, watching grief in his father's eyes, and quietly making that dream his own. When Mehmed was just 19, a letter arrived from the Ottoman Grand Vizier. His father was dead. He was now Sultan. He rode to the capital and took the throne, the 7th Sultan of the Ottoman Empire. While Europe celebrated, assuming this teenager was harmless, Mehmed was already planning. He sent peace treaties to every European king and Muslim ruler, silencing every act of war. Then he turned his full attention to the one conquest no one before him had managed. He told his generals plainly, "Either I take Constantinople, or Constantinople takes me." Around this time, a brilliant Christian engineer named Orban arrived at the Roman emperor's court in Constantinople with an extraordinary offer. He could build the world's largest cannon, a weapon he called the basilica, 8 meters long, nearly the height of a 3-story building. There was just one problem. It would cost the equivalent of 100 million today. The Roman emperor, already broke, turned him away. Orban walked straight to the tent of Sultan Mehmed. Mehmed smiled and gave him everything he asked for, with one condition: have it ready in 3 months. The basilica was so massive that the existing roads and bridges of the empire couldn't support its weight. So Mehmed built new ones just to transport it to Constantinople. Mehmed arrived at Constantinople's walls with an army of nearly 100,000 soldiers and a navy of 200 warships. He surrounded the city by land and sea. The only real way in was through the Golden Horn, a narrow inlet protected for 800 years by a massive 30-ton iron chain. Mehmed's navy charged the chain. The Romans repelled them with cannons and arrows. Strategy 1 failed. Mehmed then launched a full-ground assault. His soldiers fought with ferocious bravery. Roman soldiers later wrote that when they killed one Ottoman soldier, 2 more would rush out to carry the body, and when those 2 fell, more kept coming. But the legendary walls held firm. Strategy 2 failed. Next, Mehmed ordered tunnels dug beneath Constantinople's walls. His men silently excavated underground passages and nearly reached the city's foundations. But a spy leaked the plan. The Romans flooded the tunnels with oil and set them ablaze. The men inside burned alive. Strategy 3 failed. Finally, Mehmed unleashed the basilica. Its cannonballs weighed 600 kilograms each, the size of a small car. For the first time in history, the legendary walls began to crack. But the basilica had a fatal flaw. It could only fire once every 3 hours, and it couldn't aim at the same spot twice. Each time it fired, the Romans rushed to repair the breach before it could fire again. Worse, the continuous firing overheated the steel barrel. Cracks appeared, and despite Mehmed's orders to keep firing, the basilica finally exploded, destroying itself and killing its creator, Orban, in the process. Strategy 4 failed. Despair spread through the Ottoman camp. Even Mehmed's own Grand Vizier was certain the young Sultan would fail, just like every ruler before him. But Mehmed wasn't finished. While his army lost hope and Constantinople celebrated, Mehmed called his most loyal general, Zaganos Pasha, and revealed a plan so audacious he hadn't told a single minister, because he knew they would laugh. His idea? Forget the chain. Build a wooden road over the hills beside the city. Grease the planks with animal fat to make them slick. Then haul the Navy's warships, each weighing up to 40 tons, out of the water across the hills and drop them into the Golden Horn on the other side of the chain. It had never been done in the history of the world. It was madness. But Mehmed built the road in secret, only at night, while firing his cannons at the city walls to drown out the sound of construction. When the road was ready, 100 bulls and 1,000 of his strongest soldiers lined up beside the ships. As darkness fell, they began to pull. The ships were impossibly heavy. The uphill climb nearly stopped them. But then, as if fate had decided, strong winds began blowing in exactly the right direction. Mehmed's soldiers unfurled the sails on the ships, and the vessels began to move across land like they were gliding on water. In a single night, 70 warships crossed the hills and splashed into the Golden Horn behind the chain. When the Romans woke at dawn and saw Ottoman warships inside their supposedly impenetrable harbor, the chain still perfectly intact, people ran into the streets screaming. An ancient Christian prophecy suddenly came to mind. The city would fall when its last emperor shared the name of its first, Constantine, and both their mothers were named Helena. The current emperor's name? Constantine. His mother's name? Helena. The prophecy felt complete. Roman morale collapsed. The Roman emperor, forced to split his already thin defenses between the walls and the Golden Horn, stood at a catastrophic disadvantage for the first time. Mehmed gathered his full army and delivered his final speech, reminding every soldier of the ancient prophecy that a great army and a great leader would one day claim this city. He gave them one final order: advance. The battle raged. The Romans fought to the last drop of blood, but the walls had been weakened, the harbor breached, and the defenses stretched too thin. A group of Ottoman soldiers scaled the outer wall, and for the first time in 800 years, the Ottoman flag flew above Constantinople. The Roman general Justinian fled. The last Roman emperor, Constantine XI, refused to escape. He reportedly said, "Whoever wishes to save their life may go. Whoever is not afraid of death, stay and fight with me." He died defending his city, and with him, the 2,000-year-old Roman Empire breathed its last. Mehmed entered Constantinople. He was 21 years old. What 23 kings could not do, a teenager had accomplished. He converted the great Hagia Sophia into a mosque, where the call to prayer has echoed every single day since. He made Constantinople the new capital of the Ottoman Empire, sent word to Mecca that the promise of the prophet had finally been fulfilled, and earned himself a name that would echo through history forever: Fatih, the Conqueror.